YouTube, what's going on? It's the lighting for me. It's not bright as I want it to be, but it's gonna be in my shirt. It's a little wrinkled, but we here to talk about Miss Aretha today. Um, so for anybody who don't want no spoiler alerts, don't watch this. For those of you who are skeptical about watching the Genius Aretha show, I was too. But I have to say it was actually a good informative, real watch. It was entertaining. I couldn't stop watching it. I actually stayed up till like 3 o'clock in the morning watching it the other night till I was just like, look, you gotta work, you gotta turn this off. Um it's a lot to talk about with this Aretha situation. Cause it was a lot that I didn't know. A lot of the stuff was probably you could probably go on Google or do some research or something. Um so I guess we'll start from I don't have any notes or anything, but I guess we'll start from the beginning. So Aretha starts out as a little young girl. She always wanted to be a singer. She always had the gift. Her dad was a pastor, and her dad basically put her. Um, and he was a pastor, so of course she was going to church. So he kind of forced her to be a singer, knowing that she had it and she was going to be something. Um, Matter of fact, do I got some notes? I know a lot of people were skeptical about it because Cynthia doesn't look anything like Aretha Franklin, and so I watched her Breakfast Club interview today, and I like what she said. And she was like, basically, I know I just jumped from topic to topic, but basically, she was basically like, just because Jennifer Hudson's story is coming out doesn't mean that there can't be more than one story. And who's to say if those two come out, there can't be another one. This one was really good. And from me doing research and I'm understanding the one that Genius did is really kind of like how Aretha kind of like was based upon Clive Davis and industry friends and exes and things of that nature. And yeah, it really was an interesting watch, and I kind of respect Aretha a lot more. Do I think she was kind of like a big diva? Yes, and some might even call her a bitch, but I just think she knew she had the talent and she demanded what she wanted, and that's what it is. But so her dad was a pastor. Her dad kind of took her out on the road with him, basically took her out of school, and she was a young girl. And so then one thing I really didn't know, which blew my mind, Aretha Franklin was pregnant at the age of 12. And from doing research, she had the baby, I think it was either a day before or a week before she turned 13. Which is wild to me because church people will literally say, oh, gays are sinning and all this kind of stuff. But a 12-year-old can get pregnant, and yeah. So that was mind blowing, and I just find it so crazy to me that things like that happen to her. And I think it was some kid school. I don't think no adult or anything raped her or anything. I think it was somebody at school or something from me doing research. Um, so she was out on the road. She gets pregnant. Her dad finds out, and what the hell? Sorry, y'all. My music quit playing over here. So her dad finds out she has the baby or whatever at 12. Okay, life goes on. She still starts to sing, and you know, yeah, she has this baby, which that was really shocking to me because I didn't know that she had a kid at 12 years old. I can only imagine how traumatizing that has to be, but it's amazing to find out that she pushed through that and still became Aretha Franklin. Another thing that was really interesting in this story to me was her mom. How the dad was a serial cheater. Her daddy wasn't shit either. Her daddy was a serial cheater, a drinker, and her dad, what was interesting about it to me was the daddy got a 13-year-old girl pregnant on the mama while the mom was also pregnant with Aretha at the time. the daddy had another girl pregnant, and she found out because she went down there to go pick up the damn crib, and she sees the husband's signature on it, and she's like, well, hold up, why do he got two signatures? Why do he got two things, two cribs down here? And the lady was like, nah, this one is yours. And the lady tried to throw her off, and she was like, well, tell me who's really this is. And the lady was nice. Aretha's mom was really nice about it, because she's like, I want to know who this lady is. So she goes to the lady's house, and come to find out, the girl's mom had came to Aretha's dad's house the day before or sometime before that, and was looking for him because he's the girl, her daughter's father. And Aretha's mom finds out, she basically leaves the dad, and so the dad, she leaves him, and she has Aretha, and the dad comes back, and he starts praying in front of her. It's like, oh, God, forgive me for what I did, and all this kind of stuff. So she takes him back. So upon her looking out the blinds one day, he's like leaving late at night, thinking he's going to do something for church or something like that. So the mom looks out, and he's kissing some woman, so she leaves him for good and said that she just can't take it anymore. So Aretha's mom leaves. She tried to take the kids, and daddy wouldn't let that happen, because he was so afraid what the church people was going to think about a woman leaving him without his children. See, church people blow my mind, because they always be worried about what the church going to think, what the church going to think. So what would the church, and nobody even never told this man on him that he had got a 13-year-old girl pregnant, and he was a pastor. They just swept that under the rug. And from my understanding, the family knew about it. Some people around town knew about it, because he had to move to another town. Why is my watch going off, child? Leave me alone. I'm making a video. Anyways, another thing too, Aretha and her sister, I forget the sister's name. Was her sister named Cynthia or? Anyways, one of her sister was a singer too. And Aretha kept taking things from the sister throughout time. And so one that really blew my mind, because I love this soundtrack, when Aretha did the Sparkle soundtrack, that Curtis Mayfield had reached out to Aretha first, but then he reached out to Aretha's sister. And so after Aretha's sister told her that she was gonna do the soundtrack, Aretha then, I guess, reaches out back to Curtis Mayfield, and then she records the album. The sister finds out about it. The sister is upset about it, of course, and she should be. So Aretha's take on it was, why can't you just do your own thing without me or whatever? But I was kind of looking at Aretha kind of funny then, because it was like, girl, that's your sister. And it was very interesting to watch how the dad favored Aretha over the other children, I guess because she was the one with the gift, I guess, that God had called. And Aretha was very talented. It's just it was a very interesting watch, to watch the real true stories. You know how Aretha had a few flops, and she was worried about how the industry, but she always bounced back. She always bounced back. I love that, how they were showing like, okay, it's not doing so well. This soundtrack didn't do too well. This album isn't doing too well. But then she bounced back. She always found a way to come back and get number ones. How it was a few years that went by, she had fell off. Then she came back and got number ones after number one after number one after number one. And it was interesting as to how for so many years she didn't want to switch up her sound. And so she went a little commercial, and she started getting number ones after number one after number one. And I think she finally realized, no matter what music I do, I still have this voice. No matter what, I can put my voice and my talent on this song or whatever. And it was just a really good watch. Back to the mom. So the mom left the dad, and then the mom dies like a few years later, and that was really sad because she was really young then. And That was really sad, and it was really fucked up how the daddy kind of like basically kicked the mom out, and the mom had to go stay with her sister. Um, it was just crazy how her daddy really wasn't shit, because he had girlfriends throughout the years, and he would cheat on them, and he was a drunk. That's what I got from the movie, and he was a drunk. So I'm kind of interested to see what they're gonna do with the Jennifer Hudson story, because I'm guessing this one versus that one is gonna be there. This one focused on like the real Aretha, or the industry's view on Aretha, like who she was behind closed doors in the music scene. I think the Jennifer Hudson one will focus on her legacy, the positivity of things, and this one was interesting. It was also interesting how they kind of put out Aretha and Dr. Martin Luther King were close friends, but it seemed like maybe they were insinuating that if he hadn't died, him and Aretha actually could have kind of had a thing, because they were kind of flirting together in the movie. And Aretha had a few men too. She wasn't once she got rid of one, she was gonna get her another one and another one. I liked that. I liked how they showed how she was skinny the early part of her years, and then she gained weight, and she really liked food, pigtails, and all this kind of stuff. And it was just very interesting to watch. It was a very good watch, and for the people that's hesitant about watching it, you actually should sit down and stop watching what the family goes. And I can understand why the family wouldn't want this movie to get out, because it's actually my grandma. She's dead. She's passed away now. We don't need to focus on the bad. We need to focus on the good. And I'm guessing they're like, no, we don't want that to get out. But why not? If it's who she was, it's who she was. Whether bad or good, it makes stuff make sense. Because we've learned through interviews, she's a diva. She's sassy. But I like that. I don't think she was a bitch or anything. I think she just demanded respect. That's what I think. Trying to think what else happened in the movie. Her first husband was abusive. Yeah, her first husband really wasn't shit. Really wasn't, because he was the one that would be like, oh, I made you who you was, and he wanted to be so controlling. And I was so glad when she finally left him, and she sits down at the table and she tells him, look, nigga, either you leaving me or I'm leaving you, but that's your only choice that you got, because we're not staying together no more. That was interesting to watch. And Aretha was really strong. The only weak moment that I really watched her go through was when her dad, it was hard for her to let go of her dad. When her dad was passing away, and she didn't know how to let him go, and I'm guessing because he was such a strong part of her identity, and he was her favorite child. And really, without him, who's to say that she never really would have became Aretha? He forced her to become Aretha Franklin, pretty much, even though he wasn't shit at all. The daddy really wasn't shit. Touch on a sister, label, or something else that I wanted to touch on. Aretha. Her sister, her brother. What's the label? Well, it was something I wanted to touch on the label. Oh, when she kind of tried to move away from the dad and go into her own, because for so long her dad kind of like had control. She would ask her dad, oh, you like this or whatever, and so she does this gospel album. She does a gospel album, and she doesn't record it in the daddy's church. She records it somewhere else. And they knew the daddy was going to be upset, and he was, but at the end, he still came and watched his daughter perform. And I didn't know Aretha was so socially woke as she was back in the day. I didn't know that. She was going to get Angela Davis out of jail. She did all this. I didn't know that. that she was so close to Dr. King and she wanted to make a change. I didn't know that, so that was interesting to watch. How black people went through all that time and they used to get out the bus and being called niggers and all this kind of stuff, and black people getting killed, which is interesting because we really haven't moved that far away from that. Black people getting killed just because they black. So y'all definitely should check it out. It's definitely a good watch. That's the damn loud ass trash can people y'all here. There's one more thing I wanted to touch on about this because it was, let me see, this episode, respect, touch on the sister, the daddy, shit, what was it? The daddy. Y'all gotta watch it. I'm telling y'all, y'all gotta watch it. Y'all may not like. And you know what? I'm gonna say this. To the people that's a little skeptical about watching it, because Cynthia, and I don't know how to say her last name, Arevio, and I don't want to screw her last name up, but the Cynthia lady who played her, you can tell that she studied Aretha. Get over the look and get into the acting. And she recorded a lot. She re-recorded a lot of the music. I'm waiting on the soundtrack to come out because she sounded great doing a lot of her music. I'm waiting on the soundtrack. I know she did Chain of Fools or whatever, but the music was really great. Sometimes they would let Aretha voice play, but more, I want to say at least 70 to 85%, it was Cynthia singing throughout the movie, and I really enjoyed that. I was like, oh wow, so they're really letting her sing. She did great acting. You could tell that she grew up watching Aretha. What she said in her interview with the Breakfast Club, you know, she did grow up watching Aretha. And yeah, y'all gotta check it out. Y'all really need to check it out. Look at my flat tummy tea. It's something I'm missing. Something I'm missing. I already talked about how Aretha stole stuff from her sister. Yeah, she stole stuff from her sister. And then I want to talk about how Aretha had some more kids later on, but we don't know who the daddy of them is. But I guess, I don't know. Nobody ever found that out. But anyways, y'all go check out this Genius Aretha biopic. It is on Hulu. And if you got a Fire Stick, it's up there too. So y'all go check it out. Drop down in the comments and let me know what y'all think. And let's talk about it, because it was actually a really good watch. It was a really good watch. I know y'all talking, I ain't gonna watch it. For the people that say I ain't gonna watch it because I don't like, I'm gonna wait for the Jennifer Hudson one, but her screaming ass. Well, her scream, and I ain't talking bad about Jennifer. Aretha picked her to play herself. I don't necessarily think Aretha probably wouldn't be happy about Cynthia playing her, because she picked either, I know she mentioned Fantasia, but Jennifer was her pick. She wanted Jennifer Hudson to play her. And so I'm pretty sure that Jennifer Hudson will be phenomenal, but this one was great from an informative perspective. So if you want to get a sneak peek, or if you want to wait for the Jennifer Hudson one to come out and then watch it and compare the two. But this one was great. If you ain't got nothing to do, it's only 8 episodes. It was really good. But let me stop saying it was really good, and y'all go out there and watch it. Bye.